uSTADIUM. I screwed it up. I knew I was gonna screw it up. Okay, have you guys seen like the clip of JT Daniels with the Mountaineer Nation, let's ride, like that one? I was trying to do something like uSTADIUM Nation, let's take.
Oh my god. He tried it, ladies and gents.
I tried.
He tried it. We respect the attempt.
So hard and got made fun of on social media. Well, welcome to episode 82 of the Sports Desk. I'm Splash. We are always joined by Jack. He's in my wall, and Josh down yonder. How's it going, fellas?
Good. Busy after yesterday at the MLB trade deadline, but it was a fun day.
Amen to that.
The mood is a little bit somber. We did lose Vin Scully last night, and that was a pretty rough one, so he will definitely be missed. I don't think I posted last night, I was on uSTADIUM, I was like, I don't have the words that, and like, I'm pretty sure they've already been said, and nothing's gonna be enough, so.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a big reason why I even do this. He's like why I'm in sports media, why I went to school to be a journalist, why I've always been interested in sports broadcasting. It's Stuart Scott and Vin Scully and everybody else. So rest in peace to the GOAT. GOAT gets thrown around a lot. I'll say it probably several times during the show, but the true GOAT of sports broadcasting is Vin Scully. You can argue about two. You're not going to argue about number one.
Yeah, I saw tweets saying like in a lot of sports you can debate the GOAT, but Vince Scott, there's no debating it.
In hockey and commentary, there's no debate.
Yeah.
Well, in hockey, you got that one's weird because you think, well, it's obviously Gretzky, and then there's people that disagree, and you kind of just wonder, why he won 10 MVPs, has the scoring record, the goals, assists, and total points record. What is he missing? The thing is nothing. But at one point, he was not the leader in points per game, and then Mario Lemieux blew it. So congratulations, good job, Pittsburgh Steelers. Or Pittsburgh Penguins.
Pittsburgh Penguins.
I mean, close enough.
There's the Penguins, the Pirates, and the Steelers over in Pittsburgh.
They all share the same darn colors, and they all stink, and they rob my teams of championships year after year after year after year. So actually the Pirates haven't, but hey, Bream to the plate. Did I tell you guys that I have a hat signed by Sid Bream?
What's with the signed?
It's not like his signature, he just wrote his number in it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
did he like throw it to you?
My godfather, so my godfather plays a bunch of golf, right? Mm-hmm. And 90s after the World Series, one of the World Series, I forget which one, Sid Bream went and played golf at the same golf course my godfather was working at, playing at, where have you. And they ran into each other, and they got to talking, and they like exchanged hats. So and Sid wrote 12 in the under the bill, like right here. Mm-hmm. So I have it on my hat rack. So good times. What are your guys' prized possessions sports wise?
I have a Babe Ruth autograph, so probably that.
What? Okay, explain.
I need you to explain that. I'm not sure what mine is, but I need you to explain.
His and passed down to me.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Not sure if I have any sports autographs per se. I don't know. Probably this, honestly. The Super Bowl champs shirt.
There you go.
I mean, I don't know if that's like prized possession, but it's like up there for sure. I do like my Rams jersey that I got recently, because like I figured getting a custom football jersey is kind of hard, so having one's pretty cool. Ooh.
I was signed and
unopened.
Oh, I mean, it is. I mean, I've opened it before.
Oh, okay.
But it's just in the bag. So, yeah. Also, I have a Ravens football signed by everyone on the team last May. That was a top tier Christmas present. Thank you, Grandma, if you're watching. All right, with that said, let's get into some hot takes. NFL season is back.
Yes. Tomorrow there will be football on our screens. Even if it is going to be a preseason game between two of the worst teams in the league, it is still NFL football and it will still be watched.
Should we do a live watch party for it?
I'm down.
I'm down too, but I
don't know what we're going to talk about, but I'm down.
Oh my goodness. We already have the team call tomorrow, and we got the fantasy Twitter space. By the way, check out uSTADIUM on Twitter. We're always doing spaces. We were live all day yesterday doing MLB trade deadline stuff. Check out uSTADIUM. Is it _MLB or you just uSTADIUM MLB?
It's uSTADIUM MLB.
Okay, so check out uSTADIUM MLB, NBA, F1, I believe is the thing. Check out the main uSTADIUM. We're always live, going on Twitter Spaces. We troll. I like to troll Mets fans. Mets fans like to troll me. So it's a fun time. It is a fun time. We do NFL talk, MLB talk on Mondays, NFL talk during the week, and fantasy talk Tuesday nights. And then we will have the fantasy show returning. So if you are a big fan of Stefan and Chris, they'll be back next month. I'm pumped. Love producing their show. So let's get into some hot takes. I saw a take on the app yesterday. The user said there will be a safety in the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, I saw that one earlier. I've laughed.
I have disagreed with it. 3,500 points down the drain.
As crappy as this matchup looks, I don't think it's that bad to the point where there's gonna be a safety.
It's also you need so much to happen for it to be a safety.
Yeah,
it's not like a pick, interception. You need a lot to go your way.
I think the thing that people tend to forget is even though it is preseason and you're not gonna get 100% starters on either side, it is still going to be I'd say relatively competent football. It's not going to be a complete waste of time. These teams are just throwing interceptions all the time. You're probably going to see a lot of failures to convert on third down, 3 and outs. It's not going to be good football, but it's not like these people aren't going to know what they're doing.
I mean, my pet peeve is when we do would the Jaguars beat Alabama? It's yeah, they would. These are professional football players for a reason. Not everyone in Alabama is a professional football player for a reason. These guys are still the top of the top. They know what they're very, very good at what they do.
The cream of the crop, if you will.
So I got a trivia question for you guys. Which year did the Ravens last lose a preseason game?
Oh,
I could be totally
wrong. Aren't they 20-0 in the preseason as of late or something like that?
Yeah. I believe it's 21 now.
21-0.
So 7 years ago. What's the math? 20.
Happy birthday, Zach Wilson.
Also, happy birthday to some random guy named Tom. I don't know. Wow. I don't know.
He's 45.
I think Zach Wilson's bigger.
Why is Tom Brady 45 years old and still playing in the NFL?
To be fair, that was his goal. He said he wanted to play until 25. He made it.
Okay.
Although he hasn't taken a snap yet, but he has for now.
Okay, which year did the Ravens last lose a preseason game?
2016.
Jack,
15.
your guess.
I'm trying to do the math because
there's 15.
So it's 21-0. So there was the 3 preseason games last season.
Oh, there was only 3 last year. Yeah.
And then so you have to do 4 times 5 is 20.
But what if they played in the Hall of Fame game?
Oh, that's a good point. Did they play in a Hall of Fame game? I'm going to say 2014.
I'll say 15.
Okay, Josh is correct. The last time the Ravens lost a preseason game was September 3rd, 2015. To put this into context, we are 2 presidents down the line now. The quarterback of the team that was about to win the Super Bowl, Peyton Manning, has retired and gone into the Hall of Fame since then. Calvin Johnson, similarly, has had his entire Hall of Fame, waiting period pass and been inducted into the Hall of Fame, as is Charles Woodson. I was in middle school.
I think Geno Smith
I just started my freshman year of high school.
I think Geno Smith was Jets quarterback that year.
Yeah, Joe Flacco. At that point, Joe Flacco had never missed a start. At that point, John Harbaugh never had a losing season. Then they lose the playoff game or the preseason game of a terrible season. 16 undefeated, 17 undefeated, 18 undefeated, 19 undefeated. In 18, they did play in the Hall of Fame game. So that's 17-0. And then 2020, no preseason. Then 3-0 last year. So 20-0, that is the record, the unofficial record. They beat the
I was right. It was 20-0.
Yes.
That's a good take on that. Will they be undefeated after this preseason?
Oh, that actually is a pretty good take.
See, okay, part of me wants to be like, yeah, 23 preseason wins in a row. Like, but at the same time, no one cares. And actually, people turn it on the Ravens and say, well, that's why you don't win in January, because you care too much about the preseason. I'm sorry that we have good backups that murder your backups. Like last year, Tyler Huntley dropped 37 on the Commanders after the Washington football team, after the Dobbins injury, and everyone like, oh my goodness. Well, yes, they were, oh my goodness, saying for good reason, but Tyler Huntley balled out, James Prochet balled out. So
I think Lamar Jackson actually played in, I want to say it was either 2018 or 2019. The Rams played a preseason game against the Ravens. And
I think it was 18.
Yeah, I think 18 sounds more accurate. And you guys started Lamar, and you were just like destroying us. Like it was not close.
Well, I mean, we care about the preseason. You guys don't. So.
Yeah, you care about. We went 0-3 in the preseason last season.
Hey, the Lions went 4-0 the year they went 0-16.
The Browns went 4-0 the year that they went 0-16.
Question: while we're on the subject, when will we see a team go 0-17?
I think it's like 30 years down the line.
Okay. Is it more likely in the next 10 years to have a 17-0 team or an 0-17 team?
I think it's more likely that we have an 0-17 team.
I'm torn because with the one bye, it's more like they'll have to play their starters later in the season.
Sure.
But still, if you're 16-0, you probably clinched it already and you're resting your players. But I think 17-0 is more likely.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. Sound off in the comments if you think a 17-0 season is more likely or an 0-17 season. In the 16-game era, we had one 16-0 season, the Patriots, and two 0-16 seasons, the 08 Lions and the 17 Cleveland Browns. Yeah, the 17 Browns. So yeah, I think it's an interesting discussion because you had the outlier Patriot teams, but then you also had a slew of 15-1 teams, and at the ssame point, you had a slew of 1-15 teams like the Jaguars.
Yeah,
Carolina had the year. Carolina and Jacksonville had years that they started 1-0 and lost their last 15.
Yeah, the Colts were 15-0 and they rested their starters against the Jets.
Yes. Well, I think they were 14-0. Yeah, they were 14-0 and they rested everybody. Yeah, they rested against the Jets and Bills.
Yeah, got Jets in the playoffs.
Yeah. Saints did the same thing. They were 13-0 and just started resting guys and lost their last three and then won the Super Bowl, which is an outlier. So teams that rest in the at the end of the regular season generally don't win the Super Bowl. It's weird, but then the 1 year both Super Bowl teams did rest their starters and they cruised to the Super Bowl. Who knows? Who knows? I know in 2012 the Ravens did not rest their starters in Week 17. I believe they killed Cincinnati.
2018 or 17 was the only year I can remember us resting starters.
Yeah, then you got murked by the Falcons.
I remember the Jets resting starters.
Cooper Kupp had a touchdown and everything. And
when was the last time the Jets were able to rest their starters?
Probably
that's rare.
Tom Brady.
They made the playoffs a couple times in the Brady era. You had the two Rex years, but
they made it, but they were always it was always 16. To the end.
You had the year in 06 that they were the sixth. No, they were they were the 5 seed. Huh. Yeah, because Indy was a 3 seed. They beat us. We were the 2 seed. That year was total BS. I'm going to go on a tangent. The 2006 Ravens are like the best defense the last 15 years that no one talks about. You talk about the 13 Seahawks because they won a Super Bowl. You talk about the 15 Broncos because they won the Super Bowl. You talk about the 2020 Bucks because they won the Super Bowl. But the 06 Ravens probably would have smacked all of them in the mouth. They have the best middle linebacker ever. They have the best safety ever. You have a top tier edge ever. You have a great interior of the defensive line. And they were a top 10 scoring defense since the merger. the 16-game season started. It is incredibly underrated, and it's not quite as good as the 2000 unit, which gets all the hubbub because they won the Super Bowl. But the 06 team, they didn't allow Peyton Manning to score a touchdown in a playoff game, and they lost because Steve McNair and co couldn't score on the Colts, which granted Bob Sanders exists. So the Ravens had a great defense in 2006. Don't forget it, folks.
Okay, there's your tangent. Let's start doing some hot takes.
Oh man. Jack, do you want to lead with the hot takes today?
Let me find one really quick. I just disagree with this one. LA Chargers win the Super Bowl this year.
Nope, I agree with that. I love that hot take.
It's a very hot take. I'm not gonna say Pepper X hot, but
Not
it's
to brag.
up there.
Not to brag. You can ask my friends. 2 years ago, I said the Bucs win Super Bowl preseason. Last year, I said the Rams win Super Bowl preseason. I have the bet slip to prove it. This year, I'm going with the Chargers.
Oh man, I got screwed over on the Chiefs not winning the Super Bowl last year. I bet on them 5 minutes after they lost in Super Bowl 54.
I don't trust Brandon Staley as a defensive coordinator. Yes, like if he was still a defensive coordinator, I think we would still have won it.
Okay, Jack, how long of odds would you have to say, yeah, that's fine, I would take that and agree with the Chargers?
What do you mean by that?
So
I'm not too well versed in betting.
Like 10 to win, how much would you need to do?
Yeah, so like if it was 10-1 odds, I wouldn't bet it there. But say like right now, I think the Bills are 6-1, 7-1.
I can check the Chargers odds.
Yeah, the Chargers, I believe, are in that like Ravens, Colts, Eagles, Cowboys pack, like between 18 and 22-1.
I really have no idea. Honestly,
Chargers are 16-1.
Ooh,
16.
I would not take that.
I wouldn't take that.
I mean, if it's a lock, I'm gonna take it. It's a lock.
Yeah, like if it was 1-1, then yeah, I would take it.
See, I don't love it. I think the Chargers are getting. Okay, let me preface this by saying, can the Chargers win the Super Bowl? Sure, but I don't
theoretically,
think the odds, I don't think the odds reflect that. And same thing with Herbert winning the MVP. Would it shock me if he won the MVP? No, but it is a big ask, and I think it's financially irresponsible to say oh yeah, he's never played at an MVP level for more than a couple weeks. Like a lot of quarterbacks, like Kyler Murray played at an MVP level for half a season. Russell Wilson played at an MVP season or MVP level in 2019. They are lower in the odds. Lamar Jackson won a bloody MVP. Lower. Derek Carr has MVP votes in his past. Lower.
I think you look at the Chargers and they're a complete team. It's not just Herbert at this point. I mean, his rookie year it was basically just offense. Even last year, it was just there was times where it was just the offense.
Again, it's like I don't trust Brandon Staley as a head coach. Like I think again as a defensive coordinator, I loved him when he was with the Rams, but like he's just making all these weird decisions as a head coach that are making me question like, does he really have what it takes to lead a team to the Super Bowl? Like he couldn't. It was his own decision that stopped the Chargers from even making it to the playoffs last year.
I don't buy it that the Raiders were playing for a tie. I think they would have run the same play.
But like the fact still remains that he called the timeout, and that's what screwed the Chargers. Like,
but I think either way, the Raiders run that play, and if they get the yards, they're kicking the field goal. Like, there's no reason for them not to try to kick a field goal, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
So
if I'm the Raiders in that situation, I'm not going for the tie. Like, if I have a chance to win, I don't care about my division rival. I really don't care about
There's
a tie.
no need to
like that.
There's nothing to lose by kicking the field goal unless it's like the kick six situation. But an NFL kicker,
if you miss, you still make the playoffs. If you make it, you make the playoffs, and your division rival misses it. It's a win-win. Like
if you miss it, you have to play the Chiefs. If you make it, Joey Burrow is gonna slap you. So,
but that's just like that was like a really specific situation. Anyway, it was weird.
I get why people ripped him for calling the timeout because Derek Carr said we were playing for the tie, which is just not true.
Okay, regardless if it is or not, I don't think it was a smart decision to call the timeout there.
But if you feel like you're not prepared defensively for the run, You're just gonna not call timeout and hope to get a tie.
They didn't stop the run.
They
The
didn't.
Chargers
They should have done a
can't
better
stop
job
the
with the
run.
timeout.
Do you know who the Chargers' interior players are?
They should have done a better job with
Turnstiles,
timeout.
apparently.
They make the timeout a bad call.
Oh my goodness. I did a whole like research on the Chargers to put them in my power ranking. I don't know who's on the bloody interior. It's pointless. They fill a role that Brandon Staley does not care about. It's the same thing. Anthony Lynn did not care about. The Chargers have not cared about stopping the run in years. They do not care about drafting quality interior pieces. Now, they have fixed the offensive line, so credit to them. But like Jerry Tillery is like the last cog they were supposed to get with Kenneth Murray, with like
that's fair, but you look at the teams in the division too, like the Chiefs really no run game.
The Chiefs are excellent at running the ball, they just don't want to run the ball.
They don't want it. Yeah, so it's like you have to worry about the pass rush there.
Well, then Denver runs the ball really well. Denver's
the one team, yeah. They have a run game.
Josh Jacobs, I think I said this on our last show, but if Josh Jacobs was a 5th round pick from Alabama A&M, no one would care about him. He wouldn't be going 3rd round in fantasy football leagues. He wouldn't be the starting running back for the Raiders. He'd be a 3rd stringer somewhere, be a backup somewhere. And I don't think people acknowledge that. They just say, oh, Josh Jacobs, he's always productive. Yeah, of course he's always productive because he gets 300 carries a year. There's a reason he's at the top of the league in rushing, because he's at the top of the league in rush attempts every single season. And the Raiders plug him into the ground every time they play. And it's pointless because you actually have a top 15 quarterback. You have a guy that can be a top 10 quarterback. And last year you had a great weapon in Renfro, a top 5 tight end in Waller. And you're just kind of just letting it waste because you keep, oh, Josh Jacobs, oh, Josh Jacobs, oh, Josh Jacobs, oh, Josh Jacobs. Is that a hot take to say that if Jacobs was Alabama A&M or West Alabama, or to Tyreek Hill, or Southern Alabama, or to Jalen Tolbert, if he was Southern Alabama running back, where would he be?
I agree about saying big parts of the offensive line.
Yeah, that's true. But even like last year, they had I'm not going to say competent unit, but it worked. Like Andre James worked after Gruden left, which is the weird thing that Gruden was a big time James guy, and it like stunk. And then as soon as Gruden gets canned, he's like a halfway decent center. I mean, I wouldn't take him over. I wouldn't have him in my top 20 or anything, but
just shows you what was going on at that organization while Gruden was there.
Strange organization. But to circle back to the Chargers, can Herbert win MVP? Sure. Can the Chargers win the Super Bowl? Sure. But I don't like it at those odds. I don't think they are. I don't think Herbert's QB4. I don't even think Herbert has a better shot of winning MVP than Russ or Lamar Jackson or Derek Carr or Stafford or guys in that category. And he is way shorter odds than that. The same thing with the Chargers. Do I trust the Chargers to beat the Colts, Titans, Ravens, Bengals, maybe the Browns?
Whether or not they're the best in their division is up in the air still. I think the jury's still out there. And then you have to be you have to kind of be the best in your division to even really make a run too.
Unless you're Tampa.
Yes, unless you're Tampa Bay.
Tampa's really lost 4 in a row. Brady's 0-4 in regular season games against the Saints.
Hey, we went 0-6 against the 49ers over the last few years before the NFC Championship.
This is a valid point.
Anything can happen. That's why you play the sport.
Wasn't there a Elijah Moore take?
I think there was, actually. I'm going to look for that right now. Here we go. It's from our boy Jason. Shout out to Jason.
Shout out to Jason. He's never been on the sports desk. We got to change that.
He was on the 24-hour stream, but he's never been on the sports desk before. He says Elijah Moore will have 1,000 yards receiving.
I like that take. I want to see who that number 1 receiver is going to be, if it's Garrett Wilson or Moore.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be either of them.
I think it's doable.
Oh, it's just going to, like the same thing with everything. So the Jets offense, just will Zach Wilson show that improvement?
Okay, let's play a game. I would like you to guess how many players will have 1,000 receiving yards this season. So think about your answers. I'm going to pull up the receiving stats from last year, and tell you guys how many had it last year. Actually, if you want to take a guess at how many players had 1,000 receiving yards last year.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what a stupid answer would be. Like,
Yeah, I'll start. I'll start around like 20.
I don't want to say like 20, and then there was only like 5. Like, I don't think it's that high.
I think
of a
around
number.
like 22.
All right, Jack, go
That'd
ahead.
be crazy if that was actually that high of a number. I'm gonna go with. You know what? Yeah, we'll go 20. Why not? Screw it.
26.
26. Okay. I thought it was gonna be like a really low number. I thought it was gonna be like 10 or less. I don't know why.
Nah. Number 10 receiver had 1,100 yards. So a certain dude had 1,900. One guy had 16. One guy had 15. 2 had 14. 1 13. 2 at 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more at 11. And then the last 10 had between 1,000 and 1,100 yards. Christian Kirk, DK Metcalf, Devontae Smith, Amon-Ra St. Brown, George Kittle were all within 100 yards. Do you guys want to guess them, or do you just want me to rattle them off?
Just rattle them off.
Okay. Kupp, Jefferson, Adams, Chase, Deebo, Andrews, Hill, Diggs, Lockett, Deontay, DJ Moore, Williams, Allen, Kelsey, Godwin, Lamb, Higgins, Pittman, Mooney, Terry McLaurin, Renfro, Cooks, Evans, Pitts, Waddle, and Hollywood Brown.
Cooks isn't Brandon Cooks?
Yeah, Brandon Cooks.
He's still going. He's still getting those 1,000-yard receiving seasons.
So last year we had 26 players. How many will it be this season?
I'll say 28.
All right, Jack.
This might be bold. I'm gonna go for an even 30.
Ooh, an even 30.
Even 30. I think that's the pass game. I think is going to be a huge part of the NFL this year. So
For sure. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teams had multiple last year. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Chargers, and Tampa. So I think the 28 to 30 mark is fair. There are going to be some receivers that I think get it. I think like someone in Detroit's going to get it. The Jets might have a 1,000-yard guy. Jacksonville could have, like Christian Kirk could have 1,000 yards. I wouldn't be shocked. It's weird that we think about the Christian Kirk trade as like, he got paid so much money. Sure. But he also had more receiving yards than your favorite receiver. He had more receiving yards than DK Metcalf. He had more receiving yards than George Kittle. He had 100 more receiving yards than AJ Brown.
see that sentence doesn't apply to me because I'm a Cooper Kupp fan. So
Well, he definitely didn't have more yards than Cooper Kupp. Kupp actually nearly doubled him, for what that's worth. So, hey, Christian Kirk was 27th in the league in receiving yards last year. He had more touchdowns than Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, DJ Moore.
I do think it's an
I think Kyle
overpay
Pitts had one
still.
touchdown.
Yes, it was in London too. So he's not scored on American soil.
Yeah. I do think it is still an overpay, but he will do what the Jaguars want him to do. I think that's kind of like how they're going to get their money's worth with this contract. Is he's still going to basically be wide receiver 1, and if Trevor Lawrence improves on last season, I think it's not out of reach at all that he gets 1,000.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's going to end up as a top 25 receiver in terms of yards. I'm not going to say he's like a top 25 talent because I don't think so, but top 25 in yards. I might make a take on that. That Christian Kirk will finish top 25 in the NFL in yards.
Especially with the extra game too. Like I wonder how much it changed the year before. How many players had 1,000 yards?
Hey, guess what? I'm on a website that I can check this information.
See, I'm gonna guess 18.
18. Jack, you have a guess?
What are we guessing at? Sorry, I was looking at more takes.
2020 yards. 2020 players with 1,000 yards.
22.
What was your guess, Josh?
18.
I thought you said 16, but it is 18.
It is 18.
I probably did say 16, but I changed. I guess I changed 18.
Diggs, Kelsey, Hopkins, Jefferson, Adams, Ridley, Metcalf, Hill, Robinson, Waller, Moore, Cooks, Terry, Cooper, Robbie Anderson.
Wow.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
In what world did Robbie Anderson get a...
Huh? And then H.A. Brown, Tyler Lockett, Mike Evans has finessed his way into 4 different 1,000-yard seasons at this point.
Jeez.
Bro, Robbie Anderson had 1,000 yards in an NFL season.
Who would have thought?
The Titans were 16 yards away. Corey Davis was one catch away from getting to 1,000. The 2020 Titans would have had two 1,000-yard receivers. What? Would have had a 2,000-yard rusher and 2,000 or two 1,000-yard receivers. And Cup was at 974. Cole Beasley had 967. All pro Cole Beasley had 967. Julio Jones or Russell Gage had more yards than Julio Jones. That checks out. Also, happy recovery to Tim Patrick, who tore his ACL at practice yesterday. Wow, this list is what Emmanuel Sanders in New Orleans at 700 yards. Any guesses on 2019?
Oh, I have no clue.
I'll say around the same number. I'll go 17.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with 17. I think.
It's actually 29.
29.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Devontae Adams had one of his 997 seasons. Eckler had 993. McLaurin, Ertz, DK were all over 900. We had 34 900-yard receivers. Wow.
Crazy.
Michael Thomas cleared everyone by about 400 yards. That's insane. So my take is Christian Kirk will be top 25 in the NFL in receiving yards. If I can spell Christian. Christian Kirk will be
Can you spell Kirk?
No. Top 25 in receiving yards in 2022. All right, take is getting made. Top 25 sounds ambitious, but as a wide receiver one, it's not actually that ambitious.
Yeah, and he's going to be wide receiver one in Jacksonville. I don't think there's any debate, especially with the contract like that.
Also,
you're going to throw all that money at him.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I'm watching this video on the app, and it's all I feel is pain as a Nationals fan. It's Harper Rendon jersey, Trey Turner jersey, Max Scherzer jersey, Juan Soto. The World Series jersey. They had a gorgeous World Series jersey.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
So do we want to cover any more takes? I feel like we've kind of gone off the rails here.
Yeah, I mean, the only other take I might want to touch on is an F1 take, so you guys won't know what I'm talking about.
We do have some baseball stuff. Juan Soto is, I believe, making his Padres debut tonight. We will touch on the Soto deal in a little bit. But if you're interested, you can make some takes on the uSTADIUM app. If you need some points, drop it in the comments. Hey Splash, hey Jack, or hey Josh. My username is @DsNuts. And send me some points. Actually, I got
your username actually is @DsNuts.
Yes, it is.
You get a bonus.
So funny story. It's like 12 o'clock last night, maybe 12:30, and a user by the name of Fiend tags me on the app. He's like @Fiend or at Splash @Noah. Can you help me out with something? It's like, okay, whatever. And he's like, have you heard of Tippema? Like, have you heard of the football team down in Tippema? And I'm like, you're not going to prank me today. So I said, oh, yeah, they're in Kenya, right? Do I need to say the joke out loud?
I'm waiting for it to...
Yeah, I'm lost.
Okay. Huh?
To sink in.
You're lost?
Yeah.
Okay, so, hey, Splash and Fella, what's up? You hear about the youth football team in Tippema? Me. Oh, they're in Kenya, right? Can you fit these balls in your mouth? I like the Tippema joke. Clever. He ended up blocking me, actually.
Maybe
gotta love jet spots. Gotta love jet spots.
Respect the attempt from the jet spots.
Respect it. I respect it, and then you get trampled over. But I respect it. So with that said, speaking of trampling, yesterday we had a crazy day in the NFL world, in the baseball world, in the sports world.
I think this is just news from the week too, not even just yesterday. But I think I know
I
exactly
was
what
going
you're
to talk
getting
about the
at.
Dolphin stuff. The Dolphin stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the story. In 2019, in August of 2019, the Miami Dolphins were like, you know that guy up north that's been beating us for the last 18 years? Maybe he would make a good quarterback with us. So they tampered with Tom Brady. Then a couple weeks later, Tom Brady's like, no, I don't buy it. A couple weeks later, they lose 43-0 to said Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Karma. Was that the Antonio Brown game?
I think Brown played week 1. Shoot.
That was week 2.
Yeah.
That was week 2.
I think Antonio scored in that game. I believe so, yeah.
That was the one touchdown. He played one game, had one touchdown.
I believe so.
Wearing number 17 with the Patriots.
Better than Robert Jackson. Anyways, so then pass forward. The Dolphins are like, he might go to Tampa. We're going to try to get him again. Didn't work. Tampered with him. Keep in mind, I'm using the word tampering very carefully because the Dolphins did actually tamper. And then, hey, Sean Payton, coach of the Saints. No, you should be the Dolphins coach. That's called tampering when he has a job with the Saints. So good job, Miami Dolphins. They tampered with Tom Brady, failed twice. They tampered with Sean Payton, failed. Well, that's a to be determined fail, but he's currently not their coach, so it's Mike McDaniel. They lose their first-round pick next year. This is a forfeiture of the pick and a third-round pick in 2024. And their owner, Stephen Ross, is banned or suspended until mid-October, which I don't really know what suspending the owner does. Like, what's the point?
It's not really like going to
like he's not like
the precedent that sets is like you can tamper, you'll lose draft picks, but your owner's only punishment is that there's one more free seat in the owner box until October.
There's also like fined like $1 million, which is like pocket change.
Yeah. I got a story for you guys. Okay, so 2016 NBA season. You guys remember Dante Jones? Okay. Dante Jones signed on the last day of the regular season with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He plays one game with the Cavs. He makes $8,000 from that game. In the playoffs, he gets into an altercation, I think with Atlanta. He gets fined. The way NBA fines work is that it's a percentage of how much you made during the regular season or how much you're going to make during the regular season. So if it's 10%, right? Or 1%. Okay, that doesn't sound bad. Oh, an $80 fine for an NBA player for getting suspended. $80.
$80. Like
$80. I could legitimately go to dinner after the show is over and spend $80. Like, let's say my dad and I go to like a steakhouse or something, or the seafood place. Could spend $80 right there. Dante Jones got fined $80 for an altercation on an NBA court, and I just that one. I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast last night, and I was like, what? that one I had to like quadruple take when either Simmons or Brian Windhorst mentioned that. It's like $80 fine. Because you see like $10,000 fine, $15,000 fine, $20,000 fines all the time. Dante Jones, an $80 fine. And LeBron said he would pay for it. So maybe LeBron knew something we didn't. The ultimate teammate LeBron James paying your $80 fines. Not as good as the time J.R. Smith got fined over $1 million when he was in China for a year. But hey, there's that. All right, back to the Dolphins. The funniest part here, the like unintentional humor, they didn't even get the players.
Yeah, it's like the thing about tampering, like again with the NBA, you see it all the time. Like at least those like the teams still get punished, but those players still end up with the team.
Mm-hmm. Like the Jalen Brunson. If the Knicks are like accused of tampering and like actually tampered with Brunson, they probably did. Okay, they still got Brunson. Or it's like recruiting violations. Well, Reggie Bush lost his Heisman. Well, he still won it in the first place. He's going to have all the memories. They still won the national championship in 2004. They're going to have all the memories from that. They're going to have all the memories of going to the Rose Bowl in 2005. Like, you're not taking that away from any USC fan or any USC player. You're just, vacated. Okay, yeah, sure. And these nuts are vacated too. So that one is rather, I think it's a little weird. Good job, Dolphins. taking L's even in the off season.
Fergie's now the owner of the team now too. She's the
Who?
highest working member. Fergie.
Wait, like Fergie? Wait, whoa.
Like,
Wait a minute.
Fergie is
Like-
like have the highest ranking members now. It's like Fergie, like the Williams sisters, and I think Mark Anthony.
Wait, so like the artist, like
Yeah.
the music artist.
Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
I love the Dolphins.
Miami.
Good job,
There
Miami.
was only one.
Okay,
There
speaking
is
of
only
only
one.
one, there is only one Deebo Samuel, and there is only one Deebo Samuel contract extension. 3 years, over $71 million last night with the San Francisco 49ers. Good deal, bad deal. Thumbs up, thumbs down, Jack. Give it, you're the division rival. Thumbs up, thumbs down on the Deebo contract extension.
I gotta be completely honest. I was a little underwhelmed at the length. I was like, that was a lot of talk for a 3-year deal. There was a lot of like stalling out and being like this or that. Like it was just like only 3 years. But then I kind of realized that he's kind of trying to set himself up. So it's like if in 3 years from now he explodes, then he can set himself up to get an even bigger bag. It's not the worst deal I've ever seen. And it's
Cheaper
like
than DK Metcalf, I believe, and cheaper than most of the wide receiver contracts we saw. Like the AJ Brown was what, 4 years, 96 million, 24 a year.
Yeah, AJ was bigger. Devontae was bigger. Tyreek Hill was bigger.
you're basically what you're doing there with that deal is you're hinging on the connection between Deebo and Trey Lance to go absolutely crazy, which it can do, but you have to see it more often because Trey Lance he didn't play too many snaps last season. Like now he's gonna go from that to QB1. So it's like, do we actually have does San Francisco actually have a legitimate connection there?
Maybe they do.
I think
maybe they don't.
If so, again, it's wait and see. It's yet another wait and see. But if so, then this is a good deal. Right now, though, in terms of like the here and right this second, I feel like it could also be viewed as a deal that's like, let's get Deebo paid so that he stops holding out or holding in or whatever it is that you want to call it. So,
Right.
Yeah, the big thing I took away from it was the $2 million if he rushes it a certain amount of times.
So, was that in there? Was that seriously in there?
Yeah.
Huh.
So they still want him to do running back stuff.
Yeah.
Even though that it was his like chief complaint was, I don't want to be a wide receiver running back hybrid anymore. Like I just want to catch the ball.
Yeah, so if he runs it a certain amount of times, he gets an extra $2 million. So there's some sort of agreement there at least.
Oh man.
But I don't think
I
it was
can't
bad.
believe that that's a thing.
We've seen bigger deals this offseason.
We have.
Are the Mets blowing their game?
No, it's 9-2. With two
Oh, okay. I was about to say, like, solo home run. Okay. Get the...
They kind of blew it against off topic. They kind of blew it against the I don't even remember who it was but they Jacob deGrom finally played last night, and I heard it did not go too well.
Well, when I watch a flamethrower in the National League East that can throw 100 miles per hour, I get excited. Because at least my flamethrower that can throw 100 miles per hour and strikes at a bunch of people can strike out 13 in 6 2/3. Oh my goodness. Spencer Strider, man. Ladies and gentlemen, if it wasn't for Michael Harris existing, Spencer Strider would be one of the easiest rookies of the year I've ever seen. He has been phenomenal. He's going to get some Cy Young votes. I'm going to have to go down to the Strider stash. That's an elite take. That was a big brain move when I made that take. Josh, thumbs up, thumbs down on the Deebo trade or Deebo extension.
Thumbs up. Just get it over with.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the slightly less controversial topic, and then we can go to the more controversial topic. Trevor Penning got kicked out of practice today. He started a fight in 3 consecutive days. Josh, you go first. What's your thought here on the Penning?
It's just a weird
ridiculous
story. I mean, I don't know how you start 3 fights in 3 days. First of all, I know like he was known in college for being like this type of player, but I feel like if I was a rookie and I was going to training camp for the first time, I might want to not get myself in unnecessary trouble, which it seems like he's doing. I don't think it's going to be like a problem during the season, though. I hope not, at least.
Here's why it won't be a problem during the season. It's because that's how you get cut. I don't think it could be a hot take to say he gets released because he has yet to even appear in the preseason. But you start fights 3 practices in a row with that kind of reputation already attached to you, and it's like, why do you want that guy on your team if he's going to do that? Like, I personally think that training camp fights are stupid. They are straight up the stupidest thing ever in football, because if it's not like an intra squad, I guess that's a soccer term, but if it's not like what am I trying to think of the word?
Joint practice?
Joint practice, yeah. If it's not a joint practice, it's like just there's personal beef that you have with a player. That can I understand there are like some heat of the moment things and like you might be upset with somebody, but there's a time and a place to settle it. And on the field in front of fans and in front of like everyone on your team, including the coaches, the people who literally decide whether you are playing on that team in a few weeks, is like just that's not the time or place.
I'd be surprised if he gets cut because he's a first round. If he was like a second round pick, maybe a first round pick, he's not getting cut.
Yeah, that's why I'm hesitant on saying like, oh yeah, he's getting cut, but it's like you're basically telling your coaches that you're just as easily starting to get involved in just like meaningless stuff that like doesn't need to be settled in the middle of a training camp.
I'd like to show a video.
Oh my goodness. That's basically exactly that's what we're looking at right now.
So here's my thing with this, and I'm gonna go for a Brett Coleman quote here. Let me find it, because I did like the Saints O-line fighting, but also Kyle Hamilton is still trending? ? Okay, we can talk about Kyle Hamilton in a little bit. Where is the Penning clip? Okay, here we go. This is from Brett Coleman. One of the vets needs to get with Penning and tell him to stop taking his own guys to the ground in practice. Dudes can get hurt when you tackle them in spots like this. I get, quote, practicing how you play, but coaches hate when you go to ground in practice. Just shouldn't do it. This, to me, is more of a health hazard than an issue with how Penning plays the position. I get that he has the like pissed off mentality all the time. That's what makes him great. I understand that, but you can't do that in a practice. You can't. That is it would be like slapping your mother or like throwing your cat. Like what are you doing?
This is why I say like training camp fights, practice fights, they're just so stupid. Like, yeah,
this would be the equivalent of buying a nice picture and for like a house tour, right? You're gonna okay, school's coming back.
Painting. Buy like a super expensive painting for your house, and then as soon as you take it out of the store or wherever, you just punch a hole right through it.
Yeah. Here's my comparison. So schools are coming back soon. You go to open house and your teacher has like a nice poster on the wall, and you just rip it down. You're like a 7th grader, and you just rip down the poster. Like, why did you rip down the poster? There's no point. There is no point in fighting your teammates. There's no point in you ripping your teammates to the ground. There's winning football, and then there's losing football. That is losing football. That is not gaining the trust of your teammates. That is blowing up in their face that they can't trust you. If they can't have a good practice with you, why should they trust you when you go into the heart of battle and you're in the trenches and like you're cheering them on from the sideline or vice versa? Why should they trust you if you're going to take cheap shots in practice? And it's not even a cheap shot. It's like he is going to get someone seriously injured at Saints camp. He almost killed Desmond Ridder. And I say killed a lot. He almost ended Desmond Ridder's career. He threw a lineman into his knees at the Senior Bowl. I respect what Penning can do as a football player. I respect what he will be as a run blocker even this year. I respect what he can do potentially as a pass blocker. But if you are doing this BS every single practice, like games, okay, sure,
3
whatever.
in a row. Like, it's bad enough at one practice, but 3 practices in a row.
Like, like I guess there is some intrinsic value in like fights or heated discussions because it can bring out the best in people. But when you're potentially injuring someone, there's no value in that. Like the Allen clip in Buffalo. Allen came and was like, "I love when our guys get riled up." Okay, that's fine because that's like a bump, and then Gabriel. I think it was Gabriel Davis that jumped on the pile. Absolute idiot, by the way, but that's neither here nor there. Like there is maybe some value in that. You get some camaraderie. You get some like they're going for the same goal here. Don't hit my quarterback. But this is a one-on-one thing. You're just throwing the guy to the ground. I don't see the value in it if you're penning. I think the Saints are looking at themselves in the mirror and thinking, we just drafted an idiot. Like we drafted a guy that does not have his head screwed on properly. That he is trying to fight teammates. I can't, if you're Cesar Ruiz or Eric McCoy or Ryan Ramczyk or is it Andrews Pete still at left guard? If you are one of them, you can't be like excited to look down to your left and have number 70 standing next to you because you don't know if you can trust him because he was hurting your teammates in practice. He was putting your teammates into the ground. He's like 6'7", 330, whatever, and he's like throwing his teammates to the ground. He's at practice at the.
And when you're like an experienced player too, you're in that role, and like you've been on the team for a few years now, and then you see like a rookie come in and just start throwing your guys that you've been with for this long time, into the ground. It's just like I would be telling that guy to like not come back, honestly. Like,
yeah, like if you're Jameis Winston or Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, and you're like a veteran of the game and you've played with like hundreds of teammates at this point, you're looking at him and you're like, I don't know about that. You don't know about him. Can you trust him? And in sports and winning, trust is everything. It is like,
let me put it to you that way. I'm going to go on a biased tangent because you remember the Stafford to Cup 4th down connection in the Super Bowl on that 4th and 1 play. They had tried it time and time again in practice leading up to that game. It never worked. They never completed it once. It always failed, and they still went and did it because they trusted each other. It's super important to winning in the NFL. And when you're doing something like this, again, like I said, one practice is bad enough, but 3 in a row, like. And you're doing this in front of the people that literally decide whether you are playing on the team in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's just I don't. If you're the Saints, I don't know where you go because you're kind of locked into. We got to keep him on the roster, and he's our 1st-round pick.
Yeah, like I understand that, and that's probably like the one thing that's stopping him from getting cut. But like if this kind of thing keeps up, it's like at some point. It's going to get to the... Yeah, it's like, I don't care, like, what round I took him in. If he's just starting fights with teammates all the time, I don't want him, period. Like...
So, I'm going to... This isn't on the script, but I wanted to talk about this. I listened to Bears podcast last night, and you look at the depth chart, you look at any news coming out of Chicago, and Tevin Jenkins is their backup right tackle. If you told me that 16 months ago that Tevin Jenkins would enter his 2nd NFL season behind Larry Borum at the wrong tackle spot, I probably would have laughed in your face. So I don't know what's going on in the water here in Chicago. I just want to discuss it that I'm not the only person. Let me just put it this way. I'm not the only person that was super high on Tevin Jenkins. I had a clear 1st-round grade on him. I thought he was tackle. I'm blanking on the other tackles in the class, but I maybe tackle 3 behind Sewell and Slater. Like, he was awesome. He like did everything I wanted. It's like a controlled version of Trevor Penning. That's exactly what I want, especially in a right tackle. But he was going to play left tackle, which is fine. And what has he done in a year and a half to screw up so catastrophically that the Bears want to trade him? He was a top 40 pick. The Bears traded up. They traded up to get this guy, Tevin Jenkins. And now he's on the trade block. And he's going to get a 5th-round pick, maybe. He wasn't particularly great last season. He was injured for a decent chunk of the year as well. So what are the Bears doing? I respect what Ryan Poles has done in ripping it apart and, like punting this year, because that's a hard decision to make. That's a hard thing to tell your fans. We're going to suck this year, but next year we're going to be better. We're going to suck this year. The Bears are going to suck. And it's all in the plan here. It's the same thing with the the Giants that you're just stripping it all down this year. Next year you might be better. It's not gonna you're not gonna get better when Tevin Jenkins, your number 2 second round right tackle now, is 1, not starting, 2, apparently not good enough to play over Larry Borum, and 3, is not playing, not practicing, and there doesn't seem to be an injury. So what are we doing? What are we doing, Chicago?
I mean, it's the Bears, so you never really know what they're doing.
Good point.
Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. It's like, that's one of those. It's like you could, I guess, view it as a rebuild thing, but it's just not like the right one. I don't think it's wise.
Like, there's no point in trading Jenkins. I mean, maybe like if you keep Jenkins, it's a bit of sunk cost, but you did put a second round pick into him. You thought he was good enough to trade up for and take. He hasn't shown you that he stinks, but maybe it's like a mental thing. Like the physical thing is there, the tape is there, the measurables are there, but then like what I said with Penning, that maybe you didn't spend enough time in the old interview room, and like a guy like Dede Westbrook got kicked out of his interview in 15 minutes, or apparently Carson Strong had a horrendous interview, and that's why he wasn't drafted. It wasn't the knee; it was that he had a terrible interview. But I don't know. Maybe the Bears missed something. Maybe obviously I wasn't in the room for anything, but maybe I missed something in my evaluation. But what are you doing, Chicago? What are you doing?
That's about the 50th time we've asked that question on the show.
Valid point. I wonder what team have we taken the most like pot shots at?
Definitely the Bears.
I think the Niners might be close with the Niners.
I'm pretty sure it's the Bears.
You probably.
I mean, with me, it's definitely the Chargers. But I think in total, like as like scripted parts of the show, I think it's Chicago.
Bears are close. Bears are up there for sure.
They're definitely
Jets. I think there have been a fair share of like Jets pot shots.
You've taken a lot of pot shots at the Steelers.
Yeah, sure.
I guess.
The problem with that is
or the real and legitimate world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. You've definitely taken shots. Don't try to
wait. Do I need to get the Mickey Mouse ears out?
What
do I need to?
Ears? The ones signifying the Braves' blown lead.
This is a real and legitimate World Series championship. Say 2021. It's not some phony 20. There's
the same one that all 30 teams had to go through.
Wow.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you.
What? That was an invalid point. Your point stinks.
We go on all day. If you're new to the show, we go on all day.
We got the World Series champion, Adam Duvall. World Series champion, the Wizard, Ozzy Albies. Oh, we have All-Star Travis d'Arnaud made the All-Star team this year. I don't know how to feel about that. Travis d'Arnaud is an All-Star.
That's the thing.
Okay. Also, are there any other like training camp things we want to touch on before we get into a certain Washawn Dotson?
Apparently, Matthew Stafford is not throwing. I think it's just a part of his elbow thing. Sean McVay says he should be fine. And I personally think that when it comes to Matthew Stafford, as long as his arm is still attached to his body, he will throw the football. So I think it's all
separated shoulder. He will throw the football.
I think it's all good in that regard. It's just he's not going to be throwing. I might be There's a slight chance I go to Rams training camp this weekend.
Ooh.
I don't know if I'll see him throw, but I'm not upset about it. I think he'll be all right. So
I want to touch on one more thing. Did you guys see the Kyle Hamilton clip? They got burned by a slot receiver.
Is that why he's trending?
Yes.
I want to see it like a couple of times on Twitter.
Okay, so we can show it. Chris did a breakdown of it. Here's the thing. I'm not concerned. Actually, the only thing that would concern me is if we are in that situation during a game, because that's not what's supposed to happen. It would be the equivalent of like Jarvis Landry at the quarterback passing drill. You're not designing that. You are not planning your offense around Jarvis Landry throwing the football. And the Ravens are not planning their offense around Kyle Hamilton in the slot. If you watched him at Notre Dame, you followed him in the draft, it was never, oh, he's equal forward and backwards. He's a great cover corner or coverage safety. He can play man-to-man in the slot against wide receivers. No, it was never any of that. He is special at what he does in terms of tight end eraser, the Jaron Curse role, kind of like a Derwin James. But Derwin James is better like fluidity, like hips wise. But Hamilton's like a 6'4", 220, but moves really well. Doesn't have the best lateral or doesn't have the best long speed, kind of like Marlon actually, but can thump, is great moving forward, and can cover and erase tight ends. When he's on a slot receiver, we have problems. The Ravens know this. They just happen to show the world that Kyle Hamilton can't guard a slot receiver. That's okay. He's not supposed to. You put Jordan Whitehead in that role. You put Jamal Adams in that role. You put in strong safeties across the NFL. Good strong safeties across the NFL. I don't know if they're making that play 100 times out of 100.
Jamal Adams definitely isn't.
Yeah, and like that's one singular play in a practice. And it's a one-on-one drill, which is slanted towards the offensive player because every route, I guess, is slanted towards the offensive player because the offensive player knows what he's doing and the defensive player has to react. But anyways, one-on-ones are specifically designed as show off for the receivers and running backs and tight ends and whatnot. So if you are winning the rep, you are doing your job as an offensive player. If you lose the rep, we have a problem. And if you're winning the rep as a defensive player, which Kyle Hamilton did not win that rep, he got murdered, then okay, who cares? You're supposed to lose the rep. It's more of a, what are you doing when everything goes wrong for the defense? So I'm not worried. Are there going to be teams that try to line Hamilton up? Sure. But Hamilton's not going to be 2 feet from the line of scrimmage, like in a coverage role. He's not going to be pressing guys at the line of scrimmage. That's a cornerback's job. That Marcus Williams would do that more than Kyle Hamilton would. And the Ravens have several corners. Jalen Armour-Davis has had a good camp. They have several players that are going to do that. Kyle Hamilton is not one of them. So I'm not concerned. If you are concerned, please reevaluate what your thoughts of Kyle Hamilton were, because I don't think they were calibrated correctly when you made your opinions.
Damn. That was kind of savage. All right, should we show this clip?
Okay. Sure.
Go for it. Or do I have to?
I don't have it.
Oh, I thought you did have it.
No, this is still this was the clip with Penning. Yeah, so it's like they line up.
I guess we won't show the clip, but
it's like hash to hash, and there's the slot receiver is undrafted guy from San Jose State. And he like beats him on an inside move, and then he like trails out, kind of like a slot fade, kinda, but he like had an inside release. It was like a corner, was a corner flag. Well, no, that would just be.
I think I just found it.
Okay. He like breaks in and then curls back towards the goal post.
I'm laughing at this caption. This is just like a fan video. It says Kyle Hamilton just got cooked by a nobody. Ravens fans are in shambles.
Oh, by the way, this is a Ravens fan posting this. It was designed to be a troll, and it worked. Scroll into the comments, and it works.
Do I bother scrolling into the comments?
As soon as the play runs, like it's just poor technique, and there's no. Like, it's bad. I'm aware that it's bad. I'm not trying to tell you it's good. I'm trying to tell you that the odds of him being in that situation, like, that is the worst coverage I've ever seen. And then he, like, loses him by a step, and he's a fast slot corner or a fast slot receiver. Oh. Well, scroll down.
Hold on.
Oh, I thought we were going to look at the comments.
I was kind of looking at comments. I just didn't know what we would see. I thought you saw something bad, and I was like panicking.
Oh no, I was finding one that I was going to point out.
Oh, okay, hold on. I'll bring it back up. Uncoordinated, sorry, but
We're
good. Bring it back up.
We are good. Did the Metropolitans win?
Yeah, they won 9-5.
Bummer.
Okay.
Apparently Lamar just 5 runs in the 9th. Really? Oh, Chris Bassett balling out.
All right, where is it? What comment?
Okay, here we go. Josh Maines, let me know how many safeties can cover one-on-one full field with no assignments or help. That's a fair point. And Ed Reed, free safety. Minka Fitzpatrick, free safety. Byard, free safety. Simmons, free safety. Bates, free safety. Winfield, free safety. Diggs, free safety. Derwin James. Okay, Derwin James is a strong safety. He's one of one. Okay, great.
It says 1-on-1. Derwin James guards Keenan Allen 1-on-1 all the time, and he's better than any of the Ravens receivers.
Sure. Only the best safeties can do it. Yes, Derwin James is the best strong safety in the NFL. Congrats, he can cover.
Okay.
Like, I'm sorry, that's not like congratulations to Derwin James, but I don't think it's like this indictment on Hamilton as a player. Like, it would be like asking, is Aaron Donald gonna cover Cooper Kupp one-on-one? Or no, I'll give him one that's more fair. Is Aaron Donald gonna cover Tyler Higbee one-on-one and win the rep most of the time? I might actually. Aaron Donald is a freak of nature.
Aaron Donald can keep up with him for sure.
Okay, let's take it out of Aaron Donald. Dallas Goedert versus Jordan Davis. Actually, Jordan Davis. Okay, I need to think of a defensive tackle that's not like a super freak. Okay. Okay, let's do Darren Waller versus Chandler Jones. If Chandler Jones is within 10 yards of Darren Waller at any point in the route, I think that's a win for Chandler Jones. Like, that's the same thing. He's not a free safety. We never, Ravens fans, no one in the draft community, unless you were an idiot, said he was a free safety. He's a strong safety. He's a box safety. That's why there was decreased value, and that's why you got blasted for taking him at 14, despite the talent level. So it annoys me that you're just taking shots at him. One play in a situation he's never going to be in. It would be like if I made a 75-footer. That's not indicative of how I play basketball. It's not. This is not indicative of how Kyle Hamilton plays football in any logical capacity. Speaking of logical capacity, let's talk about the Deshaun Watson. So it's 6 games as of right now. The NFL has appealed it, so they want up to a year.
The NFL wants a year.
Heavy fine. So I don't know how much of a hot take this is. I think it'll be extended, maybe 8 games, maybe 10 games, which I don't want to get into like the details there, but I was kind of excited that his first game was going to be in Baltimore. And we would see him, but I'm happy to see Jacoby Brissett as a Ravens fan.
I was kind of surprised that, like, in the whole thing, the arbitrator or judge, like Carlton, used the word predator and then only gave him 6 games. To me, that was something that
was weird. And it's like, okay, first time offender, okay, but 20 plus allegations.
20 plus cases.
I did like how you can only use the Browns masseuse. That was part of the ruling.
There have been some really good memes. I'll just leave it at that. There have been some really good Deshaun Watson memes in recent days.
I mean, I don't know. I'm glad that the NFL is trying to like be consistent with like these big suspensions, because like if they just let you have this being left at 6 games, and yet you have somebody, was it Calvin Ridley, got suspended for a year for betting.
I have an issue with that comparison.
Yeah, it's like, it's a weird comparison, but it's kind of like
it's also like
it's apples to oranges.
This is meant like in the least.
But it is still like, you have to admit
gambling is a lot. Players gambling on the league is a lot worse for the league in a sense.
Yeah, that's a league problem. The Deshaun Watson stuff is not a league problem.
It's not a league problem, but I think
problem.
The scale of the problem is definitely like, if you take like the whole league problem equation out of it, it's definitely like a much worse situation.
I think Calvin Ridley one's also stupid. I mean, it just
sure. I mean,
yeah.
I think
I'm not saying he's not stupid. I'm just saying like
I agree.
What Watson was alleged of doing is morally reprehensible, and the NFL is not supposed to be like the judge here. They kind of play the judge role, but it would be like going into work. And if you had, I'm gonna hope it doesn't apply to many people, but I'm just gonna use it as an example. If you have a DUI on your off day, should you be punished at work? Like, if I got a DUI, should Frankie like suspend me for a week or 2 weeks?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay. If I screwed up a push or got the Instagram account hacked or something that messed with the well-being of the company, should I be suspended or fired for that?
I think it depends on the scale of what you do. But
yeah,
there should be some kind of consequence.
If I got her Instagram account hacked, I'm gone the next day.
Totally off topic. Did you see Jeannie Buss? Jeannie Buss's Twitter?
Oh yeah, her Twitter got hacked, I think.
Yeah, she tweeted out. I just like wonder what link she clicked on that got her hacked.
Or what her password was.
Probably like somebody pretending to be an NBA GM. Like, hey, do you want to have?
Do you want
Julius Randle for free?
Do you want Julius Randle for free? Hey, or I wonder if your password is like Kobe Bryant 824.
Then like the Lakers had to tweet out like, don't comment or like.
Did they actually tweet that out? I'm curious now.
They tweeted out like it was like a message from Jeannie Buss like, currently my Twitter is hacked. Like I will use this time to say when it is.
Why can I not get my Instagram account back? Josh, did I tell you about this?
Yeah,
they did. The Lakers
Instagram
tweeted.
can screw me, bro. That's the worst. But yeah, with the Watson thing, I don't think it's fair to compare it to the Burfict suspension or Josh Gordon. That one's just BS. But technically, Josh Gordon falls under the NFL's wheel here. Same thing with Calvin Ridley. You're sacrificing the integrity of the game. Yeah, he didn't plan the game. I know that. Yeah, it was $1,500 parlay. Whatever. It's still betting on football. So I think there's kind of layers to the problem there. And I think people that are just saying, well, Watson got suspended 6 games. Well, he should have gotten suspended more than Calvin Ridley. Well, no, those are not the same. It would be like saying, that Jonathan Taylor isn't better than Cooper Kupp because Cooper Kupp had more receiving yards and Taylor had rushing yards. It's two different things, right? Or Lamar Jackson had more passing yards than Cooper Kupp had receiving yards. Congratulations. You're comparing apples and oranges here.
I think this would be less of an issue, too, if he didn't get paid last year.
Mm-hmm.
Because
the NFL is looking at a fine, though.
Season. So maybe Deshaun and the NFL come together and they say, I don't know how much his contract was last year, but they say if you give up a certain portion of that, we'll keep it at 6 games. And then the issue is just done with.
Yeah, so I would imagine that it gets extended. So thank you, Cleveland, for a more.
But if it goes to federal court, it could take a year or 2, and he would be allowed to play this year.
He would be whoa. He would be able to play this year?
If it's in court, he's not going to serve suspension until the court ruling is ruled.
Wait a minute. So what you're saying
are you saying that he could still play then?
He could play. And
he could play this year, and his suspension get moved to next year. It's like how when
just like freaking Zeke.
It's like when you appeal in the suspension in the MLB, you play till the appeal's over.
Yeah, that's true. Huh.
Remember I think it was Zeke, right? Remember he kept getting his suspension delayed because of some loophole.
Mm-hmm.
Like just kept going and going and going. And he was playing
in the
like
fantasy playoffs.
I think that would be a worse look for the league because in a year, like just how the world works today, no one's gonna like remember it.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's the worst look for the league if he's out there week 1 and he serves a 8-game suspension next year.
He gets suspended week 7 or something.
Oh my god!
Like if you're the league, you don't want this in the headlines. Like why are you? I get it.
Hey, there's a reason.
Like people who don't know everything about the situation are gonna come in and be like, "Why is he playing when he did this?"
Mm-hmm.
It's also like, why do you want to exist? You're the NFL. You don't want this in the news. Why are you like? I get it.
Yeah, you don't want the best podcast and show on YouTube talking about it for half an hour.
Yeah.
You want it You don't want it. Well, duh. But you don't want this as a headline. You want the Hall of Fame games tomorrow. Who do you guys think is going to win? Brought to you by DraftKings. Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
I mean, my prediction is they come up with some agreement, ends up being 8 games, and that's it. I don't see it going to court.
I'm going to say 9 games. I think it's over half a season.
I think they'll go
fine.
9. So get it. They want to get it at least a year. I think if they come to some kind of agreement, it'll at least be half the season. So,
which is still. Do you get Deshaun Watson for 8 games, 9 games?
Yeah.
8 games.
To be fair, Deshaun Watson's team did not. They thought 6 games was too much.
Of course they did.
Yeah,
I don't see how it doesn't go to court, but I just think if you're the league, that's like the worst case scenario. 8 games or 6 games, 8 games, 9 games this year looks better than. It's better for you than a season next year.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Austin on Twitter. He just sent me something about Genie Bus's Twitter getting hacked. Somebody was like DMing the account saying, "Can I pay with a 2027 second round pick instead? I'll take on Westbrook's contract as well as if you include Spider-Man."
I love NBA Twitter. All right, let's get into the baseball section of today's episode. We, of course, have the world champion Atlanta Braves in poncho form. The MLB trade deadline was last night, August 2nd. There were a bunch of moves. There was a guy by the name of Juan Soto. I think that's his name, Juan Soto, that got traded to the was it the Los Alamos Friars? Something like that, right?
Something like that.
That's close, yeah.
And a guy by the name of Bosch Gel, I believe. Something like that. But the Padres made the splash of, I'm going to say, the last 100 years. I think this is the biggest trade, the most influential trade since Babe Ruth got sold to the Yankees. There are big trades. There's the Smoltz trade that got him to Atlanta and won a bunch of NL East titles. There's a variety of titles that would win that individual ring, or putting a piece in like the right spot, and they're really good. And this is the most influential trade since Babe Ruth, if you want to count that as a trade, because you are getting a 23-year-old that is a top 10 player by OPS plus ever through age 23. He is joining another player that's top 10 in OPS plus through age 23 in history, Fernando Tatis Jr. If you set the over/under at 2.5 World Series, is that a legitimate thing? Where do you set the over/under a World Series? They can win with Soto, Tatis, Machado.
I have to see them sign him first.
Okay, that's a good point. you can't hit the over if he's gone in 2 years. That's a fair point, Josh.
Yeah, that's true, because like the thing is,
they
we
just
said this on the show. I'm pretty sure too. It's like, if this is a deal that for Soto, it has to be like setting him up for life. He could play these next 2 years with the Padres and decide this organization is garbage. I don't want to play for them ever again.
Yeah, I'm surprised the deal's not done. I mean, my comparison for it is A-Rod to the Yankees.
Ooh.
A-Rod
that was a trade, right?
What?
That was a trade.
Yeah, that was a trade.
Okay.
Rangers to the Yankees. So that's my comparison. I mean,
wait. What did the Rangers get in return?
All I know about that trade, it was on Valentine's Day.
Was Soriano dealt in that?
He might have been.
Because Soriano, he's one of my favorite players ever. He just like started popping up on random teams. Like he was on the Yankees, he was on the World Series roster a couple times. I don't believe he won a World Series though. Like he got there in 2001.
He might have been on 2000 team. But like this trade, if you're the Padres, it makes you from a fringe playoff team to a contender to win it all, and no doubt. And I mean, the move's so big, people forget about the Josh Hader move too. They got one of the best closers in the last couple of years. They're the clear winners of this trade deadline. I mean, getting Josh Bell thrown into that field, I don't get it, because Josh Bell was supposed to go for a lot.
All of that just to finish 8 games behind the Dodgers instead of 12.
But I mean, if you're the Padres,
at
this point, you're playing for Tatis to come back. You're playing for Soto on your team now. You have the pitching. You have one of the best closers in baseball. There's no reason And the
There's
Dodgers
no
made
reason
move.
why they should. I say this as a Dodgers fan. There is no reason why the Padres shouldn't make some noise within these next few years.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers made no moves too. I mean, who knows when
You know what move they made? They got Joey Gallo from the Yankees.
Yeah, but I was impressed with Brian Cashman. I mean,
Oh, jeez.
the Padres clearly won the trade deadline. I think I'm biased, obviously. I think the Yankees had the second best deadline.
They did good.
Yeah, I mean, getting Frankie Montas for, I think, highway robbery is a good comparison. Didn't give up a top 5 prospect.
Like with how much Gallo fell off at the Yankees, and the fact that they were able to get one of the best, or not best, but like a really good prospect out of the Dodgers instead of just DFAing him. That's like,
I mean, trading Jamont was Jordan Montgomery was an interesting decision, but that's for the playoffs. He's not going to be in the playoff rotation. Hopefully, Sevy's back by then, and you have a pretty good playoff rotation. And I get people say Frankie Montas can't pitch. That's true. Getting rid of Hosmer was giants. It's a game, but they're paying the contract. So
he was like, what was it? He refused to go to the Nationals.
Yeah, and then
like that.
They were paying his entire contract. That's the only way they get rid of him. But I know people say for Frankie Montas, he can't pitch on the road. I mean, he's had 6 starts on the road this year. That's not a fair comparison. I mean, give him some time. I think he'll be just fine. I think he's a great number 2 pitcher.
Okay. Did you know that Alfonso Soriano was purchased by the Yankees from the Hiroshima Toyo Carp in Japan?
No.
Yeah, true story. Then he was traded by the New York Yankees with a player to be named later to the Texas Rangers for Alex Rodriguez and cash.
Yeah.
What? Alex Rodriguez and cash?
And that was A-Rod in his prime.
Yeah, I mean, granted, Soriano was coming off a season, and he was in 2002. He was 3rd in MVP voting. The Yankees sent Joaquin Arias to the Rangers a couple months later. He was also traded for Mr. Imperfect, Armando Galarraga, Termel Sledge, and Brad Wilkerson.
I mean, this was right after A-Rod won MVP too, though.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's my comparison for this trade. Getting someone who just was in their prime of their career. And not only that, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, this is... Now I'm in a wormhole here. Okay, So A-Rod was 2nd in MVP voting. Soriano was 3rd. And then 2 years later, they're swapped.
A-Rod also won it in 2003, though.
Huh?
A-Rod won it in 2003.
This is very true. 39 home runs and 41 steals. That's insane. Built different, my friend. Okay, anyways, enough Alfonso Soriano propaganda. Yeah, I would say the Soto trade is the most influential, because even like A-Rod, he was 8 years into his career. He was in his prime. Yeah. Juan Soto, this is pre-prime.
This is pre-prime Juan Soto, and he's
like, this is a very scary Juan Soto.
It's just like Josh said, though, you still have to wait to see if he signs. If he doesn't, if all of this goes down and he ends up not staying with the Padres long term, the Padres honestly should relocate. Like, that's how bad of a disaster it would be.
It's so tough to have. They're a team that doesn't like going to luxury tax, and you're going to put $1 billion into 3 players. That's tough.
Yeah, if you can't hang on to them long term, it's like just leave the city, like cease existing as a franchise.
Hey, you could join your fellow San Diego Clippers and just move north to Los Angeles.
If they move to LA, they're gonna get overrun by Dodgers fans. It's gonna be just all Dodger blue in the crowd.
Yeah, they can't move to LA.
Like, they're gonna get destroyed.
They have a fan base. I wouldn't move if I were them.
Like, who else do they have to root for though? Because they lost the
Chargers moved to Los Angeles. The Clippers moved to Los Angeles. The Padres might move to. I'm just saying.
They're not moving to Los Angeles anytime.
I'm gonna make a take. The Padres moved to Los Angeles. Put all of my points on it. 33,000. Hey, no one will be able to disagree with it. I don't.
That's true. I mean, it's a beautiful ballpark out there. They're not going to move anytime soon. They have to worry about
history. I would even argue like the Clippers were a disaster. Let's not talk about that. But the Chargers, the Chargers had like some history, but the
Some
Padres,
history.
like,
Or do you mean in LA?
yeah, the San Diego Chargers had some great, like, LaDainian Tomlinson was MVP, Dan Fouts.
Okay. I was gonna say they've been in San Diego for 58 years. So that's more than some history. That's
yeah, like they
even
had
if
some
they
great
didn't.
players, but I think like the Padres are like integrated into the city. Does that make
I
sense?
feel like that was the same about the Chargers though. Like
it
they're
would
just
be like I don't know, like some teams in cities,
the
like
Chargers
cities just attached
original
more.
the Chargers original ownership literally said when they first they played in LA for 1 year in the AFL. And then their ownership said that they realized like LA just has way too many sports for them to be relevant in the city. So they just moved to San Diego.
See, what the whole thing with the Chargers is like it was getting a new stadium.
It was
Petco Park is beautiful. That's not going to be a worry for the next 50 years. They're not. There's no reason to talk about them moving because they're not moving.
They could have gotten a new stadium though. The Chargers could have absolutely gotten a new stadium. Dean
They could have gone if
Spanos
they
was
wanted.
cheap. Spanos is just cheap. He was like, I'm just gonna let Kroenke build it for me, and we're gonna pay them right to play there. Like they're just, it was such a cheapskate move.
Okay, well, on the subject of the San Diego Clippers, have either of you read the Book of Basketball?
No.
I'm like 150 pages in. Slaps. Highly recommended. Get it for Christmas.
I have the Great Book of Hockey, but I don't have a basketball book.
Yeah, it's the Bill Simmons one. So give me your top 2 trades. Josh, you go first. Best 2 trades other than the Soto trade.
Best 2 trades. One, I'm giving the Reds props for that Luis Castillo trade. They probably could have gone Juan Soto with that deal. I mean,
okay, sure.
And
number 2.
It's tough not to give it to the Padres because I think they got they didn't trade as much as I thought they would have to. A great deal. I mean, if I was going under the radar deal, I'm going Trey Mancini. As much as I hate to admit it,
he did
Trey
homer
Mancini
last
and Christian Vasquez are 2 great gets for the Astros. It's not a team anyone should be looking forward to playing.
Jack, give me your top 2 trades.
You're asking a baseball casual to give you his top 2 trades. I'm literally scrolling through Passan's Twitter right now.
Okay, I'll fill time. So one trade a 2-parter. So the trades I liked, technically a 3-parter. So the Mets acquiring Vogelbach, the Mets acquiring friggin' Darren Ruff, and the Braves acquiring Robbie Grossman. Those 3 trades are going to be small trades that aren't going to necessarily impact every game. But what the Mets and Braves both did were get better around the edges. The Mets knew they have horrendous DH production. They're some of the worst in the league. But now you have a guy that can hit righties. Now you have a guy that can hit lefties. You can platoon. You can move them around. You just get more chess pieces to add. And you are getting, to me, 1 quality bat in 2 guys. This is like the Jacksonville Jaguars method of wide receivers, that you are getting 1 spot filled by 2 guys and do it adequately, or the Tampa Bay Rays. And the Braves are doing the exact same thing, although they brought in Robbie Grossman to pinch hit off the wrong side today, but he got a double, so whatever. The Braves brought in Robbie Grossman, who has a 999 OPS against lefties this season. Who is he going to platoon with? Marcell Ozuna, who has a 750 OPS against righties and stinks against lefties, while Mr. Robbie Grossman is horrendous against righties. So you can say, hey, we're going to have a player that's like a good version of Marcell Ozuna, essentially, playing in the outfield or playing DH every day. And if you're playing against a lefty, you can sit Ozuna, put Grossman in. If you're playing against a righty, you can put Ozuna in, sit Grossman. You can have him be a extra utility guy, because you don't have Adam Duvall anymore, so you're having to play Eddie Rosario every day. You can mix match Rosario, Grossman, maybe the occasional Ozuna game. It's just the arm strength isn't there. So I would say that's not a big move, but that's my favorite move of the offseason, or the trade deadline. Little moves to make your team better. That's not necessarily going nuts, but my biggest winner of the trade deadline, Devin Williams. They're like, oh, Josh Hader's this, that, the other. Devin Williams is better than Josh Hader. I would rather have Devin Williams on my team for the next year than Josh Hader. I don't know how much of a hot take that is. Josh reacted, but Devin Williams just does not allow hits, does not allow base runners, does not allow jack squat. Hader is awesome, obviously, but he has been like erratic the last month or two, which I don't want to go off a month or two, but Devin Williams has been that guy for the last 3 years, but he just does the 8th inning. So, he leads the league in holds. No one cares if you lead the league in holds. You care if you lead the league in saves, which a guy by the name of Josh Hader does right now, and he's on the Padres now. And the Brewers are getting what Trevor
Taylor Rogers, but Taylor Rogers has a 4 ERA.
But he's second in saves. I swear to every deity known to man, if they don't put Devin Williams in the closer role, I'm going to walk to Miller Park. Nope, it's not called Miller Park anymore. It's
should be called Miller Park. American Family Field, I think.
Oh
right?
my God. I'm going to walk to American Family Field in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and slap every member of the Brewers. And then I'm going to slap their entire ownership group because they're idiots for changing
their name, and then for that too. So
Also, Braves were better in Milwaukee. Just saying. Okay, any other trades we want to touch on?
Real quick, I know the Montas move was big for the Yankees. The Zach Efros move was.
He plays with a lot of swagger. I saw one clip of him last night, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm."
He has an insane thinker, an insane slider, an insane curveball, 2 ERA, 5 years of control. If you're the Yankees, that's someone you put in the Michael King role. That's a great trade, and. Brian Cashman has an eye for anything. It's relievers.
What about Lou Trevino? Do you like that?
I like Lou Trevino. I mean, he's not going to be the closer. Not just. It's Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes, and I would give it to Efros after. But give Matt Blake. Let Matt Blake work some magic. He's done it with Clay Holmes. He's done it with Michael King, with Ron Marinaccio, and let's see what happens.
Can you do it with Aroldis Chapman again?
I mean, Aroldis Chapman in the last 4 outings, 1 hit.
Okay, yeah, I like to see that. Also, Raisel Iglesias going from the Braves to the Angels to the Braves. That is a really great move for 2023. Not this year. He's not going to close. He shouldn't close this year. I think Jansen's been really okay. I know you're going to look. All of you are frantically going to Baseball Reference, and you're going to say, "Splash! You're an idiot." Kenley Jansen has an ERA of like 3.5. I know, but the pitches he has thrown have been quality pitches. The quality of contact on the opposite side has not been good. So in theory, his results are very good, but the results are not matching what should be happening. So he's better than what should be happening. Will Smith, on the other hand, was the opposite. So Will Smith was statistically overachieving. So like if I wanted to argue with Edge on Twitter, I could say, well, Will Smith actually has a 100 ERA plus this season. He's a perfectly league average pitcher. When I know darn well I've watched him every game this season. It's like, Will Smith. Look, I mean, Will Smith will have a special place in my heart because 1, he's from the same city I am. 2, he was the man on the mound for the last 3 outs of the World Series. And 3, he helped my town during a tornado last year. So, like, the guy, Will Smith, legend. The baseball pitcher outside of October and early November 2021, happy trails, buddy. People that wave hands like or shake or wave their hand like this are weird. Or like, I feel like you gotta go like. Yeah. Josh, how do you wave your hand? Are you a okay? You're more like the okay. I'm more like the floppy wrist guy.
I usually just go with the one wave and then.
Oh, but if I do the one wave, I don't have all 5 fingers up. I'm like this, like right. But yeah, like if I'm like waving at a person, I'm go full floppy wrist. Welcome to the next section of the show. We're doing tier lists for how to wave your hands. And if you do it like this, you're an F tier. Just saying.
That's like sign language for like moon or something, I'm pretty sure.
I actually wouldn't be surprised.
I think it is.
Drake London apparently shook Casey Hayward today.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Gallo has just been officially added to the active Dodgers roster.
I'm a big fan of Gallo. I know Josh.
This is what I'm gonna say. The Yankees, his time at the Yankees was not great. I think right now, though, at this point in time, that doesn't matter. That's a wash.
But he's a small market player.
If
LA's not a small market.
if there is a
But there's
perfect
different kind
time
of
in his
fans.
career to bounce back, it's with the Dodgers. I think.
I just don't get the fit for the Dodgers because you don't need a lefty who's all or nothing. You have Cody Bellinger. I just
Cody
adding
Bellinger,
another star.
who has been on an absolute slump, is now
Like,
on the
I
same
saw
team
the
as Joey
Dodgers
Gallo.
plan. The Dodgers plan is if their outfielders start slumping, they'll use Joey Gallo. But I don't think the Dodgers understand Joey Gallo's been in a slump for the last year and a half.
I would hope
Okay,
they
he
do
was good with
understand that.
Texas last year. I don't buy the year and a half. He was good with Texas.
Yeah, he was good with Texas.
Yeah, year and a half.
I think he can
trade
bounce back
deadline,
with the
half
Dodgers.
the
I
year.
think they're a good team to.
Wait, didn't he win a Gold Glove last year?
Yeah, no, I don't know because he didn't play right when he came to the Yankees.
I'm gonna Google it right
It
now.
might have been 2 years ago.
I know.
Yes,
He
did.
won a Gold Glove
He
and
won a Gold Glove.
yeah,
I mean, his glove's never been in question though. It's his
I know.
bat.
It's his hitting.
Yeah.
hitting like-
Second year in a row. Yep, he won it
In his
last year.
last like 70 at bats, he was hitting like 0.5, 0.05.
Okay, I'm not gonna argue that he was ice cold, but I do like the player. There were some. He did kind of throw Yankee fans under the bus a little bit. Did you see
Yankee
the
fans
quote?
throw him under the bus all the time.
I
That's
feel
a-
bad for him. The thing that ticked me off with him is he publicly came out and said, "I don't have to change my approach." Like you do. You're hitting.
If you are hitting like that,
maybe let's change your approach.
please change your
Like, you can't
approach,
hit
Joey.
anything over a 90 miles per hour above the belt. Like, change your approach. Like, coming out and saying that is just. What do you expect fans to say to you? Like, oh yeah, we're fine with that.
Valid
I
point.
I'm just gonna say right now, I think like this is your chance to restart your career and prove that like you still have what it takes to do what you did in Texas. If you can do that, great. I'm not complaining. I think the Dodgers will be fine as a whole. I don't think it's going to like really hurt them that badly.
No, it doesn't affect the Dodgers. I mean,
But I don't have high expectations. Let's just say my expectations are lower to the ground than Kyler Murray. We'll put it at that.
unless they're
Yes, I
playing the
made a
Yankees,
Kyler Murray
Joey
short
Gallo's not
run.
doing anything. If they're playing the Yankees, he's gonna hit 3 home runs. I know it, but
Just all of them are going to be short porch shots. It'll be Game
Yeah.
7 of the World.
if he can
Series.
hit the ball, if he can even hit the ball.
If
It'll
he
be
can even
Game
hit the
7 of the
ball.
World Series, and Joey Gallo is going to take a nuke, just nuke.
Oh
him.
my god. Do you know how satisfying that would be
Oh
if
my-
he hits a
Did you guys
nuke?
see that Frankie wanted to make a take that Eduardo Escobar was going to like send the Mets to the World Series?
What?
Yeah,
It was he wanted to, he couldn't like figure out how to word the take, but it was essentially Eduardo Escobar will have a critical hit in sending the Mets to the World Series.
A critical
He's a
hit
more or less
in
more
sending
fan.
them.
I'll give him props.
He's literally using video game terms. A critical hit to send them to.
That's fun. I mean, I'm like, hey, you could do like win probability added, and like if there's like
I
a 20
said-
point.
You should give them a go-ahead RBI in a,
Ooh,
game,
I like that.
in a playoff game.
I like that.
Oh
In
my
a
God.
playoff game or the deciding playoff game.
Ooh, any game after Game 5.
Okay. So in games, and does it have to
In-
win the game or like
in-
go ahead only? or
Go-ahead
win it?
RBI.
Okay, so like I don't know, he hits a leadoff home run and they're up 1-0. That counts.
That's true. I mean, we could do like after this takes gonna get so long.
It's gonna be like whoop,
You
in
say
the
after the 8th
2022
inning,
playoffs for
in
the New
Game
York
6 or 7,
Metropolitans.
Eduardo Escobar hits a go-ahead RBI.
Hey, do you remember the take that was it Mount Becton that said DK Metcalf would be traded on a Tuesday in March between 6 and 7 p.m.
He didn't win that one.
to the Jets? that did not work out. Anything else we want to touch on today? I think we've had a good show.
Yeah, we
That's
have.
Had some heated. I got mad at Trevor Penning. I got mad at the Bears. Shocker.
If you want me to talk about F1 a little bit, I guess you don't, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ferrari, what are you doing?
Okay, let me do a Acuna point first, and then we can go into F1.
Okay, go for it.
So Ronald Acuna is kind of scuffling at the plate. It's weird. He's just hitting a bunch of ground balls to the bull side. He can't generate lift. The exit velocity is there, like the bat speed is there, but he's getting killed on inside pitches. and he's almost kind of scared at the plate, and he can't lift the ball. So what do you guys think Acuna will bounce back, have a big August, September, or do you think this is just a lost year and, try in spring training that, he's going to be an average player this year and maybe next year he's back to like Acuna that we all know and love? Or do you think it's all it takes is like one home run off Max Scherzer next week and, he's back?
I think he has time to bounce back. I don't think he's going to have this slump for too long.
If he doesn't go with the mindset that one swing's going to fix everything, he'll be fine. But if he's going up there trying to hit a home run every at bat and saying, I'm going to get all my average back from this slump in one at bat, then he's just going to be.
You can't do it all in one at bat. Yeah. You have to have some consistency throughout.
This is a valid point, and he is now in his longest power outage of his career. His second longest was earlier this season, which is kind of scary, but I don't know. I'm not concerned long term. But like the batted ball stuff is there. He's hitting the ball hard. When he does get lift, it's, a good contact, but it's just so many ground balls that it's counterproductive. So Jack, hit him with that F1.
Yeah, I was just going to really quickly talk about how Ferrari just sucks right now because they're they are fumbling the bag. They started out the year getting like a 1-2. They had like a bunch of really strong finishes, but like as of late, it's just been all Red Bull, all Max Verstappen. Both are leading their respective championships. Mercedes, though, there was a take earlier that I actually almost mentioned during Hot Takes that said that they were going to finish second ahead of Ferrari in the constructor standings. I think it's going to happen because Mercedes, they just had their second race in a row where they finished second and third. And George Russell also got his first pole of the season. F1 is on a 3-week summer break right now, so we won't see any racing for a little bit. Maybe some F1 streams, who knows? We'll see.
I cannot help you on that one.
Don't try. Don't
yeah,
try. It's
you
fine.
You might have to get Riyadh from the Frankie's Doghouse.
Yeah, it's fine. Or I can just go solo. Either way. Yeah, I think Mercedes is probably going to get some wins at some point this season. Are they going to win the championship? They'll probably catch Ferrari. I don't have too many doubts there if Ferrari keeps going on this downward hill, but it's going to be hard to catch Red Bull at this point. So I'm hoping for the best, but we'll see. Either way, it's exciting. It's exciting to see new faces actually competing for it this year. So
for sure. Josh, any propaganda you want to spew real quick?
On this last thing on the Spaces yesterday, I don't know who it was. I forget what account. But they were arguing that CJ Abrams' work is less because he's batting 250 in the majors. That doesn't make any sense. Just because you call up a prospect and they play 20 games doesn't mean their value is less.
Juan Soto is batting 250 this year. I wonder if his value is depressed at all.
Doesn't seem like it. I have a little bit of a bidding war going on. So.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to go into a batting average tangent, I guess. Batting average is important, but it's not as important as you think it is. Not you guys, but I think in general. Like when I talk with Frankie, for example, it's not that I'm against batting average. Batting average is important. You're getting on base. That's good. But when you use it as, oh, this player stinks because he only has a 240 batting average, I don't see the point in that. Like there are certainly, I don't want a player batting under 200. Like Kyle Schwarber is batting around 215 right now. Joey Gallo is batting under 200. That is almost counterproductive. But Gallo would get on base, right? He would walk a lot, in theory. And Schwarber, at times in his career, has walked a lot. And Jorge Soler, at times, has walked a lot as a leadoff guy. But when you are a sub 300 on base guy, that's bad. So the batting average, to me, matters to a point. But if you're, say, I think Ichiro can be overrated at times because he had the huge average. Well, it was just a bunch of singles. So he's not moving runners over. He's getting on base himself, which is impressive, and that's awesome. But his individual at-bats aren't as, I don't want to say meaningful, but aren't as influential as you might think. Oh, well, he had 200 singles in a season. Okay. Great. 200 total bases right there. You know who else has 200 total bases? Austin Riley already has 200 total bases. He almost had, it felt like he was going to have 200 total bases last month, but he was around 100. But There is certain. I need people to understand there is value in on base percentage. There is value in slugging percentage. I'm not saying that on base or on that. I'm not saying that batting average is totally ridiculous, but you can do more than have a high batting average. If you're a 250 hitter, like 2 years ago during the pandemic season, Ronald Acuna had a 406 on base percentage with a 250 batting average. That was a productive player. He was an MVP vote getter. That's good, right? If Freddie Freeman's batting 330 right now, that's awesome. Congratulations. Good job, Freddie. That doesn't necessarily mean he's the best hitter in baseball. Same thing with Luis Arias. Yeah, if you ask like a casual MLB fan, would they be able to tell you that Luis Arias leads the majors in batting average right now?
No.
They might say Freddie or Judge or Riley or Alonso.
They probably say Judge, if anything.
Yeah, they probably say or Ohtani or Trout. They'd say someone.
Oh, we should have probably touched on how Ohtani almost got traded, by the way. There was like talks going on in that regard.
I think that's more a feeling it out.
Yeah, I guess that's.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I
Although,
think
hey, there were some funny Braves memes.
I think the Angels are going to have some surprises.
Now, here's the conspiracy. I conspos over there. The Angels traded Raisel Iglesias to the Atlanta Braves. So that means Alex Anthopoulos has the Angels GM's number.
Splash, the Angels are not getting Shohei.
Yeah, I don't think the Angels. I think it would
The
be
Dodgers will give him a printing press.
Clearly, the Angels are not getting Shohei because he already plays for them.
I honestly think
not trade.
the
Whatever.
Yankees
You know
might
what I
be
mean.
the favorite for him.
Ooh, would you go Judge and Ohtani or just one or the other?
That's where it gets interesting.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
He was supposed to sign with the Yankees and didn't because he wants to be on the West Coast. So it could be the Dodgers. But if you look at the Yankees, they just kept Oswald Peraza.
You mean who do you mean, Judge here?
No.
No, Ohtani. When Ohtani first came over, everyone thought he was gonna be a Yankee. But he
Gotcha.
wants to
The
be
Red
on the
Sox.
West Coast.
I
I guess
heard
it's
a lot of
time.
Red Sox.
I was gonna say, like, there's no way Judge is going in.
Yeah, no, but he wants to be like closer to home, I believe. That's probably the reason, not time. But you look at what the Yankees can offer now. They can offer Jason Dominguez, offer Oswald Peraza, Austin Wells, and I think if you're the Angels, are you getting a better deal? Probably not. I don't think he's want to pay both of them. That's another story. But I think he's can get the best offer at this point.
I have a Looney Tunes prediction here. Not prediction, an idea. How many wins above replacement would Shohei Ohtani have if he played right field instead of DH? Like last year, he was at 9.0 as a DH and pitcher. How many WAR do you think he would have if he played right field?
See, I don't.
Because he has the speed to play defense. Obviously, he has the arm strength to play right field. I don't see him just being a catastrophic fielder.
But I think his pitching would be a lot worse. I think he would be worn out, and his pitching would be significantly worse.
Okay, that's fair. I was just kind of adding the math to it. Like, oh, hey, like if he doesn't have the huge negative from playing DH and he gets some positive fielding, maybe he gets like 12, 14 WAR. Do you know who leads baseball in WAR right now?
I feel like it's something only you would know.
Paul Goldschmidt.
Actually, I think it might be Judge.
Judge is around 7, I think, 6 or 7.
Yeah, they're both over. Last year was really It's Judge. He's at 6.1. Alcantara leads the National League. He's at 5.4. Paul Goldschmidt actually leads Major League Baseball in batting average.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Judge, Alcantara, Arenado, Goldie, Ohtani, Alvarez, Fried, Riley, Edmund, Freeman. That Let's talk about the Austin Riley contract. 10 years, $212 million.
Pure robbery.
I'm very
like
happy
one.
the Braves. Here's the list of guys the Braves have locked up long term: Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna Jr. Is there any? I mean, I'm sure there's better foursomes in baseball, but are there any better that are under contract for the next 6+ years?
After the Yankees re-signed Judge, yes.
Who are the other three?
I'd go Stan. DJ is criminally underrated.
How long is he locked up for, though?
I think he signed. Well, I guess it won't be 6 years. He signed a 6-year deal
Okay.
7 years ago last year, so it'll be 5 years left.
We have Mookie and Freddie, but that's
Yeah,
two.
you can do Mookie, Freddie, Turner, Bueller.
True, I guess.
Or if they re-sign Trey Turner.
I hope to God they
Justin
resign
Turner's
Trey
not
Turner.
good at baseball anymore, though.
Justin Turner's mid, I'd say.
But
Is he? He's not what he used to be.
I think Judge
He
Stan.
did hit 2 home runs in the
Cole,
nachos
yeah.
though, Splash.
That's a valid point. Okay, Nacho Hall of Fame, Justin Turner. I don't know. I think we've had this discussion before, but I think the Acuna contract is the best value in baseball, by a mile, by several country miles, because you're paying him $15 million a year to $17 million a year to be, in theory, one of the top 10 players in baseball. Even this year, in a year that he's slumping, I think what Baseball Reference uses, I think it's you want $8 million or 1 WAR equals $8 million. So he's like gonna get to 2 WAR or around 2 WAR, maybe 3 WAR, and he's gonna be well worth his contract value. But I'm really happy for Riley, really happy for Olsen and Ronald and Ozzy. I want Dansby so desperately to get re-signed. And I think if you're the Braves, I think that's one that you have to bite. You have to say, you got to re-sign Swanson, keep the infield together. And then you try to figure it out with Fried and Strider down the line and Anderson and Morton's getting up there. But take advantage of a league that doesn't have a salary cap.
Yeah, MLB trade
Yeah.
is going to be a lot of fun this year. There's a lot of good guys in the market, and there'll be some big trades probably.
Yeah. So
All right.
Amon Chimper got arrested today.
Yeah. Former Nat.
Okay, also world champion with the Cleveland Cavaliers. With that said, that's going to wrap us up for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'm glad you stayed on after my welcome to uSTADIUM awful joke at the start. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring a ding ding, that Le'Veon bell or that Josh bell. Make sure you get all notifications from us. Hopefully we do some more stuff. Maybe we'll have some clips from this episode.
Keep an eye out tomorrow because there's a chance we do our first football night of the year.
It's going to be the worst game ever.
It will be one of the worst games we've ever watched. I don't know if it's going to be kind of tough to outdo Browns Steelers, but it's not looking too great because the Jaguars are involved.
That was a disaster.
That was a disaster.
At least Rams Cardinals, like the Rams showed up.
We did that twice, and both were bangers. So, or I
No,
guess
the second one
was less.
You won by 23, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, but it was better.
Will any game ever top the Rams Bucks game? I don't think it's going to be possible to top.
I wish we did, right? Because like we got off the air right before Chiefs Bills.
That's true.
We only did Rams Bucks because we thought that Stefan was going to be there, so we were going to have like the Rams fan, the Bucks fan, like clash.
Okay, we got to do more of those this season.
We definitely have to do more rivalry games.
Also, Cubs Cardinals postponed tonight. Yeah, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. You can follow us on the socials. On the uSTADIUM app, I'm at Splash. He's at Jack Mitchell, and Josh is at Josh Clement.
That being said, thank you guys for watching. Super Bowl champion Aaron Donald trains with knives. We'll see you next week.